We've had some fresh cases, but we've got others coming back from previous cases as well. So I think pretty similar to a lot of other clubs at the moment. I think nobody left really satisfied or happy. Certainly with the festive schedule that's coming on. There's 2 games that's already been lost due to the current situation. We all know that there's a tradition with the festive scheduling. It's difficult normally, but it's not impossible at the moment to ask players to play twice in 48 hours. And I, at the moment, don't know how we're going to do it. We've got a lot of players who are coming back, some from COVID cases, some from injuries. We're having to push rehab forward, and people are breaking down in rehab because of that. And it's asking massive questions of everybody's squads at the moment. And it's lunacy that we're having to play 2 games in 48 hours. And, there's got to be a question about the integrity of the competition when teams are playing weakened teams against other teams, and it's affecting league positions. Yeah, well, we pretty much had it the other day against Aston Villa, and I blame myself really for not pushing to get the game called off, because we shouldn't have played. I suppose because we were so buoyant after the performance against Manchester United a few days earlier, but I had four players pull out on the day of the game. I've got 3 players on the bench who I couldn't put on, and we ended up making a substitution of a guy who hasn't played for 22 months after 43 minutes. He wasn't due to probably make a first team start until the FA Cup game on the 9th of January. But that's where we were. And, it was bordering on negligent for myself if he'd have got injured, and I'd have been felt very, very guilty if he had done. Thankfully, Sam Byron got through the game. But I think we're in a dangerous situation now where we are risking the health and welfare of the players. Yeah, I think you can. I think you could see that at the start of the season. Even though they were losing games at the first 3, I think they lost. But you can also see what they were trying to do at that time. Sometimes you come up against better teams. Sometimes you've got players that aren't in good form at that time. Now they've got what the big word and the buzzword in football is momentum. Momentum can take you an awful long way, and they've certainly got that. And they've got a clear identity of how Mikel wants them to play. Yeah, unfortunately, Matthias Norman was hoping to get back, but he's had a setback, and he's ended up having some surgery now to release the adductors and help his pelvic injury. So he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. Milot Rashica, these games will come too soon for him. We're hopeful that he'll be back for the Leicester game. I don't think it will. I actually believe that it will change anyway, with the World Cup being in November next year, that there's not going to be, a Boxing Day game and then one within 48 hours. It's always been difficult. It's always been a tradition, one that I've enjoyed as a player, as a manager as well. But it's always been difficult. Now it's not impossible with COVID situations, for sure. Do I want us to lose that tradition? No, probably not. But at the moment, it is too difficult to do this season, I believe. Yeah, no, he's available for selection. He was one of them players who shouldn't have been playing against Aston Villa. He suffered glandular fever, came back from that, and then he's played his first full game against Manchester United in 9 months, something. 2 months, I think it was, and then we're having to force him back out there to play against Aston Villa, and he broke down just before half time. But he's back now. He's back to fitness. But to ask him to play 2 games in 3 days again is going to be too much. No, it's not. And I think you've got 3 outstanding teams at the moment at the top in Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea, who seem to be the ones who are beating or not getting beat at all. And the others at the bottom can, certainly ourselves can just look above and see that there's beatable teams. And, and I think our performance at against Manchester United proved to us that we can be a match against anyone. Yeah, I think he went to see the specialist yesterday. He doesn't need any surgery, which is really good. But obviously, certainly for the next couple of weeks, he won't be available. Yeah, we've got some players who've obviously had illnesses who are back on the training ground. Billy Gilmore being one of them as well, who was, the player who was playing with the temperature against Villa. There's a lot of players who've had illnesses and symptoms, but actually tested negative. There's been a bit of a softly approach during training just to make sure we get them back to their full recovery and ready for the game on Boxing Day. Yeah, they've done well in the 23s games that I've been watching. It would be remiss of me to throw them in at the moment. I think they've only trained with the first team for a week or two. But if needs must, if you're ready, you're ready. And if they're the next cab off the rank, then they'll be in. But we had Tommy Rowe on the bench against Villa, and he played 90 minutes the night before, which just shows you the situation we was in at that time.